Hello, my friends. I'm Dr. William Harris, and today I want to talk to you about something that might seem small, almost trivial, yet it can change the course of your health in ways you never imagined. Have you ever checked your blood pressure at home and been surprised, maybe even worried, by the numbers you saw? Perhaps you thought, does this mean I'm sick? Do I need medication? Or maybe you felt a wave of fear because the numbers looked higher than last time. Here's the truth. Many times those numbers don't reflect your real health. Why? Because up to 70% of people over 50 make mistakes when measuring their blood pressure. And these aren't complicated mistakes. They're tiny habits, small errors, the kind of things we don't even think about. But one little slip can throw your reading off by 20 or even 30 points. That's enough to turn a healthy heart into what looks like a dangerous condition. I've seen this happen countless times in my practice. People come in anxious, clutching pages of high readings. They lose sleep. They worry constantly, and sometimes they're even prescribed medication they don't actually need. And yet, when we take a closer look, the problem wasn't their heart. It was the way they measured their blood pressure. So today, I want to sit with you, like an old friend across the table, and share the most common mistakes I've seen over the years, and more importantly, how you can avoid them. Because when you measure your blood pressure the right way, you give yourself peace of mind. You give yourself the truth. And the truth, my friends, is one of the greatest gifts you can give your heart. Let's begin with one of the simplest mistakes, placing the cuff over clothing instead of directly on your skin. It may seem harmless, but I once had a patient, James, 68 years old, who was convinced he had dangerously high blood pressure. He kept a diary of numbers that made him feel like a walking time bomb. But when I asked how he measured, he admitted he always wrapped the cuff over his shirt sleeve. When we measured properly, on bare skin, his pressure dropped by almost 20 points. Just like that, his disease disappeared. Another mistake I see all the time is when the arm is not positioned at heart level. Imagine stepping on a bathroom scale that's tilted to the side. You'd never trust that number. It's the same with blood pressure. If your arm hangs low or is lifted too high, the result is distorted. Even being just a few inches off can add or subtract 10 points. That can mean the difference between reassurance and a prescription you don't need. And let's talk about timing. How many of you have rushed into a clinic, still out of breath, and had your blood pressure taken immediately? I call this white coat hypertension, the stress of being in a medical setting, or the simple fact that your body hasn't had a chance to rest can send numbers soaring. One of my patients, Maria, nearly began lifelong medication because of elevated clinic readings. But when she measured at home, after sitting quietly for 10 minutes, her numbers were perfectly normal. Even small habits, like talking during the test, can change everything. I once watched a gentleman chat away with his grandson while the cuff inflated. His numbers spiked dramatically. When we asked him to stay silent for the next reading, his blood pressure fell back into the healthy range. Just a few words spoken at the wrong moment had added unnecessary fear. And let's not forget caffeine. I know many of you start your mornings with a hot cup of coffee, but that cup can raise your blood pressure by 20 or even 30 points for hours afterward. If you measure during that time, the number won't reflect your true baseline. That's why I always recommend waiting at least 2 to 3 hours after coffee before testing. Posture matters too. Crossing your legs feels natural, but it restricts blood flow and can artificially raise the numbers. Simply keeping both feet flat on the floor helps the reading reflect what's really happening inside your arteries. Finally, one of the most damaging mistakes, trusting just one single reading. Blood pressure is like a story. It changes from morning to evening, from before a meal to after a walk. One page doesn't tell the whole story, yet so many people, and yes, even some busy doctors, make decisions based on a single number. I always remind my patients, take several readings over time. Let your heart tell its full story before you draw conclusions. When I reflect on all these mistakes, I realize how much power lies in the small details. A cuff too tight, a restless moment, a cup of coffee, or even a simple conversation, all can change the numbers and shape the way you see your health. I'll never forget my patient Thomas, in his 70s, who spent months fearing for his life because of high readings. Only later did he discover that the real issue wasn't his heart at all. It was the way he measured. His relief was so profound that he laughed out loud, saying, "All this time, I was afraid of nothing more than a misplaced cuff." So my dear friends, here is what I want you to take away. Blood pressure is not your destiny. It's a measurement, a whisper from your heart. But you must listen carefully. Measure the right way. Be patient. Give your heart the respect it deserves. And when you do, the truth will set you free from unnecessary fear. If today's message helped you, please do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you won't miss what's coming next. This is how we build a community of people over 50 who choose not just to survive, but to thrive with strong, healthy hearts. And now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever made one of these mistakes when checking your blood pressure? Did you ever discover that your numbers changed once you corrected it? Share your story in the comments. I read every single one, and your experience could help someone else in this community. I'm Dr. William Harris. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, every small, careful action you take today is a gift to your heart tomorrow. Stay well, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.